So we're going to pick up in chapter 7 with the myelin sheath, which surrounds the axons of neurons. And the myelin sheath is a lipid-based molecule. It's a fatty covering, just like the covering of a wire. An electrical wire in your home is covered or insulated with plastic, which is also lipid-based or fat-based. Now, the job of the myelin sheath is to help insulate the signal within the neuron so that it moves faster and it doesn't scatter within that watery environment of the body. It's created by Schwann cells in the peripheral nervous system and oligodendrocytes in the central nervous system. Now, you'll see if you go back to that picture of the neuron, you'll see there are gaps in the myelin sheath called the nodes of Ranvier. And the nodes are where the signal slows down because that's an unmyelinated portion of the cell membrane or of the axolemma of the neuron. So here, the big thing you'll need to know is about gray matter and white matter. So gray matter refers to cell bodies of the neurons that are unmyelinated or have unmyelinated fibers. The white matter is the part of the nervous system where the neurons have myelinated or mostly myelinated neurons. So they appear to be not so much as white, but a light sort of gray or light tan color. We can also talk about functional classifications of neurons, meaning classifying the neuron based on what it does. So there are sensory neurons or afferent neurons that carry information from the sensory receptors to the central nervous system, that is the brain or the spinal cord. Those would be the ones that are the cutaneous receptors, the Ruffini organs or corpuscles, the Pacinian corpuscles, the Merkel discs, and the Meissner's corpuscles that we looked at in the skin and that you tested in the skin lab. Proprioceptors that we'll talk about with the skeletal system and the nervous system, and those are found in the tendons that connect muscles to nerves and within the muscles and the joint cavities themselves, and send signals to the brain to tell the brain about stretch or tension in the muscles of the tendon so you can adjust, say, posture. All of the special organs or the special sense organs, the rods and the cones in the eyes, the cochlea in the ear, the taste and the smell receptors carry their information on sensory or afferent neurons, and thus sensory or afferent nerves. The motor or efferent nerves or neurons carry impulses, that's information, from the central nervous system to the effectors. And the interneurons are those that are interbeing between the sensory and the motor neurons. And they're really conveyance neurons. They pass information. So if we look here at this picture, you can see in action the afferent neuron that would carry information from its dendrites through its cell bodies to its axon into the central nervous system, and in this case it would be the spinal cord. That interneuron or association neuron associates information from the sensory neuron to the motor neuron or the efferent neuron, which carries information from its dendrites to its cell body and then out through its axon to some effector, which would be a muscle, a gland, or some other neuron.